Peace and blessings, love and light. It's your brother, OmnivisionEdu360, also known as Omnis. This is another segment of OmnivisionEdu360, Black News family, all right? Today, we're going to be talking about vaccinations, all right? And people taking the jab, all right? Is it the right thing to do? Is it the wrong thing to do? Are people informed? Okay, we're just gonna talk about it, family. Peace and blessings to everybody that's in the building. But I'm gonna give y'all a little bit more time to tune in, so I'm gonna wait just a little bit longer. It's been a while since I've been on, family, so I'm coming to give y'all some jewels. All right. It's been a while since I've been on, so I'm coming to give y'all jewels. Y'all know how I do. I'm not really about the clownery, the foolery, all right? I'm not about the entertainment as much as the education, all right? This is for educational purposes only, family, all right? Now, I am a 5+ year independent researcher of natural sciences, okay? I began to study college level science in year 2015, 2016. All right. I studied electromagnetics. I studied chemistry, biology, immunology, physics. Okay, just to name a few courses of study, family. All right. So again, I am not a paid scientist. I'm not a hired individual working for the government, coming to give people false information, all right? I'm an independent researcher because I love information and I love to be in a knowing family, all right? I'm a Libra, I'm an air sign, and I think a lot, and that's just how I get out. So I'm going to use my God-given ability today with the brothers and sisters and shine the light, and hopefully y'all can appreciate these jewels. All right. So, before we get started, be sure to hit up the Cash App, all right, for donations, for Black news, more educational content, more Black educational content, all right? The Cash App is www.cashapp.com/ all caps OmnisNatura360 LLC. All right, that's OmnisNatura360 LLC. All right, peace and blessings, love and light to the family in the building. I see the My Stay Hotel. Okay, all the family that's in the building rocking with me. All right, so let me see. So make sure you guys get to my email, which is www.omnisnatura360@gmail.com. All right? That's lowercase OmnisNatura360@gmail.com, family. All right? Peace and blessings, love and light, brother Ashid, brother Jonathan Cooper. Peace. All right, we in the building. Give the family a little time to get in while we get started. All right. So let me see. All right. For my other email is www.ltjones919@gmail.com. So if you need to hit me on my if you need to email me, hit me at those two addresses. All right. Also, my Facebook is www.facebook.com/Omnis. All right. www.facebook.com/OmniOmnis. All right. Instagram is OMNIS_OMNIS, family. All right. And the YouTube is www.youtube.com/the nature god OmnivisionEdu360. All right. So it's www.youtube.com/the nature god OmnivisionEdu360. All right. That's spelled NatureGodOmniAMUNASE. All right, the nature God, Omni Amanashi. All right, love and light, golden goddess G is in the house. Peace and blessings. Ashi. All right. So we in the building. We're going to be talking about vaccinations, the science of microbiology and immunology. All right. Not only will I give you guys receipts and references and give you guys answers, but I can show you how to get the answers as well, family. All right. I know some people are content with just being, fast and in a hurry and on the go because we got a lot going on. But sometimes we need to know the details, family, of how things work. All right. We got to understand the details of how things work, family. All right. So, the jab, the science of disease, family. So, we'll be doing a little bit of microbiology and immunology. Okay, so the definition of microbiology, family, is the study of microscopic organisms such as bacteria, viruses, archaea, fungi, and protozoa. Okay, these are discipline, and this discipline includes fundamental research on the biochemistry, physiology, cell biology, and ecology, evolution, and clinical aspects of microorganisms, all right, including the host response to these agents. Okay, so it is a study that's dealing with the science of microorganisms. Okay, the cells in the body are individual living life forms, all right, that compose a larger life form. Because we are human beings, but we're composed of atoms and molecules and cells and tissues and organs, all right? So it's the atoms that condense into the molecules, which are the elements, all right? The elements is what makes up the cell, all right? And the cell is what makes up the tissue, family, all right? The tissue is what makes up the organs, okay? So it's a systematic structure, family, all right? Atoms, molecules, cells, tissue, organs. So we have to understand what the body is made of, all right? Biochemistry is the branch of science concerned with the chemical and physiochemical tissues which compose living organisms, family, all right? So we have to understand the biochemistry, all right? Now, so humans also have biochemistry. Bio meaning biological, and chemistry. So biological chemistry, the chemistry of the body. The body is made of chemicals, the chemical elements, all right? Science confirms that humans are made of stardust and that the stardust is created through natural processes such as nuclear fusion, which elements, like when we go to elementary school, which means the basics, all right? The fundamental basics of physical life is created from the elements, family, all right? These elements is what makes up the body, okay? The chemistry, the biochemistry is very important. So before you go taking a vaccination, okay, you might want to know the chemistry of your body, because it is a science of how particles and molecules interact together. Molecules and particles that are not compatible have bad reactions, bad chemical reactions. So a RH response, RH meaning rehusis, all right, is an antigenic immune response, okay? When the body is exposed to foreign cells and foreign substances, okay? Just for example, so you guys can understand, why we need to know the science of the body, family. All right? So keep it pushing. So by www.ksb.com, okay, who should not get a COVID-19 vaccine? All right? Now it says there's really only There's really only a category of patients, and those are those who have severe reactions to previous vaccines, all right, or one of the other COVID vaccines, said Scott Robertson, all right, president of the Pacific Central Coast Health Center of Dignity, all right, and that's August 11, 2021, family. KSBY.com, all right. So, as you notice, they said that there's people who have had severe reactions to vaccinations and people who have not had those severe reactions. So there's a difference between the biochemistry of those individuals, all right? So the reason why I say biochemistry is so important, you have to understand that there's different categories of humans, ethnic groups, all right? And in science, we call this genotype-phenotype transcription, meaning that genes, right, which is the genetic information and instruction, translates into the physical attributes of a living organism. If a living organism has a specific appearance, all right, specific details and features, then it's always due to the genetics of that organism. This is called genotype-phenotype transcription, which is the sum of gene expression, family, okay? So we have to understand that we are the way that we are. We look the way that we look. We have the features that we have and the functionality that we have based on our genetics, okay? Some people can digest sunlight better than others, okay? This is a scientific fact. Some people have stronger immune systems than others, okay? This is based on your genetics, family, okay? So immunity and genetics most definitely have a correlation. We have to understand that genetics play a part in your inherent immunity, all right? So your immunity can be compromised as well. Your immunity can be compromised, family, if you expose yourself to a toxic lifestyle, biochemical induction of harmful substances, okay, created by Westerners, all right? These substances like dairy, which is a animal food source, animal protein, dairy, like meats, because meat is like decaying matter. You don't really supposed to have, meats like that. Just to name a few, family. So its lifestyle can be very detrimental to your immune system, okay? So we need to understand how that works. So anyway, to keep it pushing, an immune response by cancer.gov. Immune response, family, by cancer.gov. Peace and blessings. Jerry Harris in the building. Ashi. Love and light, family. Peace. All right? So the way the body defends itself against substances it sees as harmful or foreign, all right? In an immune response, the immune system recognizes the antigens, usually proteins on the surface of substances or microorganisms such as bacteria or viruses, okay, and attacks and destroys or tries to destroy them. Cancer cells also have antigens on the surface, okay, and sometimes the immune system sees these antigens as foreign and mounts an immune response against them. This helps the body fight cancer. All right. So what they're saying is that the body defends itself against substances that are identified as foreign by the cells of your biological system. Okay. Because we are biological organisms who have biological systems such as our immune systems. All right. So the immune response recognizes foreign substances such as antigens, bacteria, fungi, protozoa, okay, and viruses as harmful and as foreign, not as such as non-native to the body, family. That's my point. Okay, your body identifies native cells as native and foreign cells as foreign. When you introduce toxins to the body, that are not natural, that are not of nature, okay, you can harm yourself. So anyway, just to get that out there. So let me see what we got. So that was by cancer.gov, family. Antigens are harmful to the body. That's the point. Understand that pathogens / antigens are toxic, pathogenic / antigenic microorganisms. All right. And these organisms only occur in nature as decomposers. That's another thing we need to understand. Antigens, pathogens, viruses, bacteria, okay? All these things are organisms that occur in nature as decomposers, meaning once these organisms come in contact with any other matter or any other organism, its functionality is to break down its tissue, to deteriorate its matter, okay? That's what happens during decomposition in nature, okay? There's parasites, there's maggots, you know what I'm saying? Certain things like that are natural decomposers. That's what a pathogen is. That's what an antigen is. And antigens and pathogens exist in vaccinations, family, all right? So that's why is that important? Because antigens and pathogens exist in vaccinations. So that's just something that you want to take a look at, family. All right? It's very important. If we are to be generalized and have generalized immunity and not pay attention to the fact that immunity is based upon your inherent genetic grouping, okay? And just say everybody has the same level of immunity, which is not true. Okay, then you compromise people who did not need artificial immune boosting. Understand that vaccination is artificial immune boosting, all right? There's ways to boost your immune system naturally with herbs, okay? With radioactive foods that are electrical, family, that go through the process of photosynthesis, foods that contain light of the sun, okay? Which then creates vitamin D and certain other minerals, all right, that's meant to nourish and, add on to the body, okay? So we have to understand the way that it works, family. So foods that are not coming from the light of the sun, okay, are toxic, and they do not have the minerals, the energy stored from photosynthesis, okay, to serve our bodies, family. We have to understand that. So like I said, there's biochemical induction through lifestyle, and then there's inherent immunity due to your genetics, okay? So, let me see. Immunity and disease can be naturally inherent, okay, so we understand that, or it can be biochemically induced. All right. Now, natural immunity is based upon antibody production. Now, those who produce less antibodies have less immune defense. All right. Understand that antibodies are immune defenders, family. All right. Antibodies are immune defenders. All right. It's like a military. All right. You exist on a certain land, a certain region, and you have a certain way of life, and then you have outsiders, colonials, all right, colonizers who come in, who seek to take your value, to take your land, take your resources. The antibodies' job is to identify these invaders and to keep them out from stealing their value and stealing their resources, okay? So the antibodies result in greater immune defense. Less antibodies result in lower immune defense, okay? Now, antibodies are natural, God-given antibiotics. When you go to the doctor, they prescribe you antibiotics to fight against infections, okay? Understand that antibiotics are artificial, synthetic antibodies which exist in the blood plasma naturally, okay? So this concept was discovered by Europeans, all right, that antibodies have the functionality of fighting off foreign microbes. So that's his job, to defend your body, okay? So anyway, that's why we have antibiotics today, family. That's why you go to the doctor. It's an immune booster. So understand that antibiotics are antibodies that exist in the blood naturally, and its job is to fight against infection. Okay, this is why when you go to the doctor, they prescribe you antibiotics. Okay, now according to a 91-year-old genetic study, aka the ABO blood group system, discovered by Australian American immunologist and pathologist Carl Landsteiner, who received a Nobel Prize in the 1930s for physiology and medicine. According to that study, the ABO blood group study, immune defense can be determined by antigens and antibodies, okay? Native and foreign cells, family. All right? All right, just give me 1 second. Antibodies and antigens, okay? Antigen, which means genetic, antigenetic, are not good for the body, family. All right, antigenetics. All right, so got off track for a little bit. Give me 1 second. So I got my little notes over here on the side, family, just in case I get off track. So you see me look over to the side, that's what I'm doing. I got my little notes, got my little references, and like I said, I've actually studied these scientific disciplines, these courses, all right? Started in 2015 and 2016, all right? And I do it for entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Learning is my new entertainment. That's the new way, all right? Because being a black person, I understand that we are the original man, the natural man, okay? We are the founders of civilization, okay? The creators of math and architecture, all right? We're the founders of timekeeping, all right? So I understand that being the descendant of these people genetically, that greatness is also a part of me, okay? So I shade to all the brothers and sisters that's in the building, all right? All the tribe that's in the house, family, all right? Love and light. So, like I said, according to that 91-year-old genetic study, it's already known by many scientists around the world that there's different groups, okay, of individuals genetically, all right? Different blood groups. And also, notice that when you go to the blood banks, especially in like hood areas, rural areas, you see a lot of people of African descent and Hispanic descent. Okay? You see the black and you see the brown people. So we see majority black and brown people when you go to these plasma centers, when you go to these blood banks. All right? Why is that? Because even though it's not taught that in the ABO blood group study, which is the science of genetic grouping, they don't teach that genetics transcribe into physical traits. So some people who have heard about this study believe that you can have the same blood type and be two different races, all right? Your race is based on your genetic grouping, okay? There's no way that you can have an individual that has the same blood grouping and has a different phenotypical structure or traits or features, okay? People of African descent are known to be more expressive. Even with Napoleon Bonaparte in the 1800s, when they went back to Africa, went to Egypt specifically, and they blowed the noses off of the structures because they knew that these individuals were of African descent phenotypically. The noses, the lips, you know what I'm saying, the high cheekbones. So we know that genes translates into physical traits. So we don't want to get that confused. Black people are a specific genetic group, all right? The O blood group, to be specific. Now, O stands for oldest or original. Like I said, it's impossible to not acknowledge genotype, phenotype, transcription. Genes determine physical traits. All right. So let's just we understand that it is what it is, family. All right. That's the science. Don't be mad at me. Okay. For anybody who feel any type of way. Okay. But anyway, we have to understand that. So O stands for oldest or original. Okay. People of African descent have been found to have no Neanderthal DNA. Okay. Now, people of Asian and European descent have been found to possess between 10 to 20% Neanderthal DNA. Okay, let me say that again. People of European and Asian descent have been found to possess between 10 to 20% Neanderthal DNA. Now, a Neanderthal is a subgroup species of human, meaning it's a hybrid life form. A hybrid is when you combine two separate species together to make a new species. Okay, in science, this is called speciation. Okay, speciation is how you create new species, right? Which is an unnatural process, because in nature, separate species never try to reproduce. All right, naturally, this never happens. This is a man-made process. Okay, so we have to understand that people of European and Asian descent, okay, have been found to possess Neanderthal ancestry. All right. So at some point in time, these individuals had some genetic modification occur in their genome. All right. Then the story traces back to the Babylonian story. All right. With Enki and Enlil. When you have Enki sitting on the wheel of creation, and he's spinning the wheel of creation, and below him are smaller beings, much smaller beings. Okay. And this is supposed to be one of the most oldest references. And this is about 7,000 years old from the cuneiform script, cuneiform tablets. All right. From the ancient Sumerians. And they talked about hybridization occurring 7,000 years ago, family. All right. So we see that in the blood group study, you have original blood types. And then you have A, which is a mutation, which stands for A antigen. An antigen is a toxic or other foreign substance which contaminates the surface of a blood cell, of a red blood cell. Okay. Keyword toxic or other foreign substance. Okay. So it's a mutation. B is a B antigen, which is a different type of mutation. I think it's called homozygous, the scientific term. And then you have the heterozygous. All right. So the AB is a heterozygous because it has two mutations, A mutation and B combined. So O has no antigens because it has no mutations. And again, it stands for the oldest or original. So I don't know who are teaching you guys about this information, but that's why we have the Black News family, and we have OmnivisionEdu, and we have teachers like me, all right, putting in our time and our energy. So listen, family, I studied, like I said, for 5 or 6 years, all right, and I've come to amazing understandings, family, from doing this independently, because I have questions. And when it comes to a lot of these institutions, you're forbidden to question. There's a set format, and if you don't go by that set format, you're not going to be accredited for your time and your energy, even if you have the right answer. If that's not the answer that's in the curriculum, then you're not going to be accredited. Okay, so I don't know if I would be the ideal student for the typical Western school, but I love education and I love information, family. Okay, so let's keep it pushing. Let me see. So antigens are no good. So antigens are genetic mutations. A mutation is a degenerative, de-evolutionary change in a gene sequence that prohibits normal structure and functionality. Okay? Low levels of immunity is the loss of normal genetic functionality. Okay, understand that. A mutation is a degenerative, de-evolutionary change in a gene sequence that prohibits normal structure and functionality. All right. So low levels of immunity is a indication of a loss of normal genetic functionality. Okay? Sunburn is a loss of genetic functionality. Okay? All living organisms, considering this is a solar system that runs by certain natural laws of thermodynamics. Okay? All life is based upon heat. The solar system, the sun system, is a heat engine. It is a heat system, family. All chemical reactions is based upon heat and radiation. Okay, so light and heat is the catalyst of all chemical reactions. All right, even with thoughts, even with certain hormones being produced. Okay, light and heat, which we have electrical signals and impulses that transfer throughout neurons, okay, that enable humans to have certain hormonal experiences. Okay, this is also dealing with the science of thermodynamics, so we can't run away from that. Just to make that very clear. All right, this is a heat system. Everything is based upon light and heat. Photosynthesis is a natural process that occurs in plants, in animals, in humans through our melanin family. And melanin is a natural biochemical pigment that occurs in humans, animals, and plants, right? That serves as a natural conductor of electromagnetic radiation, okay? So it stores energy and radiation like a solar panel. Solar panels store heat and radiation from the sun, and then even after the sun has failed, all right, even after the sun is on the other side of the planet, you can still use that energy. Okay, so that's how solar cells work. Melanin is a photovoltaic cell, family. Its functionality is to generate energy through light. All right, so like I said, sunburn is not a normal human functionality. So that's from genetic mutation. Okay, understand that an immune response is a reaction of the cells in the body to a toxic or foreign substance. If your body is responding to the light of the sun, which is natural, created and existing in space, family, all right, created by creation, by the creator, and your body is responding to this light negatively, all right, because the cells in your body identify the light as a toxic or foreign substance. Okay, when you understand that the fundamental elements and ingredients of life is created through nuclear fusion of the sun in the triple alpha process, all right, then you know that shit like that makes no logical sense. Okay, so we got to bring it back on in, family. The sun is the origin of planetary life. Okay, so it is not a normal functionality if you cannot process light of the sun. All right, so we talked about the mutations. So understand that a zygote, right, this is another scientific term. A zygote is a cell formed by the union of two gametes, and a gamete is a germ cell. Okay, a germ is a precursor of disease. Okay, the developing individual produced from such a cell formed by the union of two gametes. Broadly, the developing individual produced from such a cell. That's by Merriam-Webster. For individuals who need references, and you don't want to see niggas just on social media talking, and you want references, I have references, family. All right, I consider myself to be a professional. Right. So when I go live, I try to make sure that I give y'all something good and something of quality and something of substance. All right. So since we're dealing with this pandemic and the plandemic, my bad, and we got all this stuff going on, family, and people acting scary and choose to not be in the knowing. Lovable Brown Smith, Ashe, peace and blessings, family. And we in the building. So yeah, with all this stuff going on, we might as well chop it up. We might as well talk about it. But I hate to see my people being fearful, because it reminds me of religion. It's just scaring you into not thinking. And like I said, you know, the universe gave us eyes to see, ears to hear, and minds to think. When you hear musical notes, you know naturally what tones go together and what tones don't, okay? When you see colors, you understand the difference and the variation, family. Naturally, no one needs to teach you those things. Your mind is supposed to be programmed naturally to understand, to think, to figure things out, all right? So we got to stop being indoctrinated and being pampered and being domesticated, family, all right? And come up out of that, because we are the original native indigenous people, all right, of the planet Earth. So we must return to our roots, all right, and to our culture, to our heritage, and to our way of life, okay? So that's what it's about, family. But with that, even though we are very emotional and spiritual people, we have to tap into the intellectual, all right? So we got the right hemisphere of the brain, and we got the left hemisphere of the brain. One dealing with emotion, the other side deals with logic. Okay, so we got to function in holism. So anyway, get back to the bill. We know that a gamete is a mature haploid male or female germ cell which is able to unite with another of the opposite sex in sexual reproduction to form a zygote. Okay, so that's by Oxford.com, Oxford Dictionary. All right. So a germ, right, by Collins Dictionary, is a very small organism that causes disease, family, meaning that germs are bad. Germs are not good. So you might want to look into the germ theory, but it's pretty much dealing with the science of disease, family. All right. So when you understand that vaccinations contain inactive and living pathogens and antigens, these are fun facts that you might want to know, family. Okay, so be sure that you check behind yourself and you do your research and you filter through what's being put out. Okay, don't take anybody's word, family, not even mine. Okay, whatever I say, please go and research. If I'm wrong, please get back at me, family, and show me where I was wrong. And and if that's true, I'll admit to that. But I'm 99.9% sure, family. But anyway, if you see anything that you feel that I have said that is not consistent with truth, then please let me know. All right. So I'm like I said, I'm gonna put out a few references as I go. So over here's my notes. All right, now by Britannica.com. Disease is any harmful deviation from the normal structural or functional state of an organism, generally associated with certain signs and symptoms and differing in nature from physical injury. A diseased organism commonly exhibits signs or symptoms indicative of its abnormal state. All right? So a disease is any harmful deviation from the normal structural and functional state, from the normal and structural or functional state of an organism. All right. So we understand that. That's by Britannica.com. So pathology, okay, in English is the science of disease, family. All right. And that's by Cranbridge.org, dictionarycranbridge.org, meaning the pathology, okay? Pathology is the scientific study of disease, simply, all right? It's that simple, the study of disease. And disease occurs from pathogenic and antigenic microorganisms that invade the body, invade the biological system, and eat away at the tissues and the organs, all right? Considering that these organisms are created to deteriorate and break down matter. That's what a decomposer is. So when you consume chicken, when you consume beer, when you consume cheese, when you consume yeast bread, when you consume any type of substance that's genetically modified, all right? Any type of substance that's not designed for your body genetically, all right? It's an antigen, okay? So antigens can occur in different ways, but normally they occur in nature as decomposers. So that's the main point, all right? So antigens are unique to specific pathogens, all right? The whooping cough bacterium, for example, will have a different antigen on its surface from the TB bacterium. When an antigen enters the body, the immune system produces antibodies against it. All right? That's by microbiologysociety.org. Okay? When an antigen enters the body, okay, the immune system produces antibodies against it. Like I said earlier in the video. Okay? Antibodies are a military force. Okay? They are your immune defenders. Okay? Its job is to prevent invasion, which is infection. Infection is invasion. Okay? By foreign microorganisms that seek to enter your body and take over the function of your body, okay, as they multiply. Okay, so microbialsociety.org just said when the antigen enters the body, the immune system produces antibodies against it. Okay, so antigens and pathogens are in correlation. Now, by medicalnewstoday.com, it says, pathogens affect all living organisms and cause illness to humans in a variety of different ways, okay? They can damage tissues or cells by producing toxins as they replicate, all right? That's by medicalnewstoday.com, medicalnewstoday.com, family. Okay, pathogens affect all living organisms and cause illnesses to humans in a variety of different ways. They can damage tissues or cells by producing toxins as they replicate. Like I said, these viruses and pathogens and antigens are decomposer organisms whose job is meant to decay and deteriorate living matter or dead matter. So if it interacts with living matter, it's going to do the same thing that it does to dead matter. It's going to eat away at it. So when you have organ failure, you know what I'm saying, when you have heart failure, you know what I'm saying, that's a sign, that's an indication of antigens invading and taking over your body, compromising the functionality, compromising the genetic structure, family. All right? So we have to understand, as the most intelligent people on the planet, the science of biology, all right, the science of immunity, and understand that we're in certain times politically, family, all right? There's people that run the world, family, that have a certain creed and a certain way of life that's different from our ancestors, all right? So there's a lot of unnatural things that's taking place, all right? So that's why I'm an independent researcher. So anyway, pathogens are not good. They're harmful to all living organisms, family. They damage tissues, cells, and they eat away at the body, all right? Now, by publichealth.org, disadvantages because they contain living pathogens. Live attenuated vaccines are not given to people with weakened immune systems, such as people undergoing chemotherapy or HIV treatment, as there is a risk the pathogen could get stronger and cause sickness. That's by publichealth.org. So they saying, you know, vaccines do contain live attenuated vaccines. Okay, vaccines contain live pathogens, inactive and activated. Okay, so like I said, these are the precursors of disease. This is what gives you the disease, family. So my point is, how can you heal, cure, or prevent disease by inflicting disease. I don't get it. All right. Once you expose the body to pollution, the body is going to be polluted. Period. That's how it works. But they teaching something different, family. So y'all go with what you want to go with. But anyway, we're going to keep it rolling, family, because over here we about what makes sense at the OmnivisionEdu. All right. So make it make sense 2021, family. All right. That's the slogan. Make it make sense 2021. All right. If you want to go ahead and get the vaccination, all right, and compromise your body and compromise yourself, your children, then that's on you. And your loved ones, that's on you. But if your loved ones are dependent on you and you're not a knowledgeable person, then that's not a good thing. All right. Your loved ones need people in their corner at this point in time, family, that are knowledgeable, because this is a time of knowledge and information. And it's up to you, family, to get that knowledge and information. All right? It's available to you. It's easier for us to get it than it was for our ancestors. All right? For our ancestors that were slaves. You can go back further than that, but for our recent ancestors that were slaves, they didn't have this available to them like we do today. So we got to take advantage of this, family. All right. So we got to understand this too, family. Vaccines, right, is artificial immune boosting, right, which is used to boost the immune system of individuals who are inherent to less immunity. There's individuals who are inherent to higher levels of immunity. It's not necessarily made for them, but my thing publicly, they should let individuals know that if you are inherent to higher levels of immunity and you have a high antibody count, all right, because they can check that. If you have a high antibody count, then you shouldn't be required to get vaccination, okay? Because science is not about guessing and generalizing, all right? There's you can't go about every answer the same way. You know what I'm saying? It's a different formula. There's a different formula, family, for every mathematical problem. There's a different formula, family. All right. So anyway, you got to understand that these microorganisms are mRNA, right? Okay, which stands for ribosome nucleic acid. Yeah, ribosome nucleic acid. Okay, and this is not the double-stranded helix like the one we see in Egypt, and the dove with the snakes coiling around the little pole joint. All right, and I think the symbol is on the ambulance. You can see that, but it's representative of the information and the knowledge that our ancestors knew. Okay, there's a polarity in the universe. That's a natural law, and even in DNA, we have two helixes. All right, the single-strand helix, all right, is GMO, genetically modified DNA. It's simplified DNA, family. All right, so it's man-made. So that's my point. And vaccinations contain mRNA biological material. So that's something that you might want to know. It's not something that's naturally of nature or of creation. All right? This shit is something that comes from the Westerners. You know what I'm saying? The man. You already know who I'm talking about. So it is what it is, family. So DNA, which stands for deoxyribonucleic acid, is the double-stranded helix, all right? It coils around each other like a snake, and it represents the law of duality, family, of balance, okay? So, as far as wearing masks, I disagree. You know what I'm saying? But it's up to individuals to take whatever precaution you feel that you need to take. But we're here to talk about what makes sense. We're here to talk about the science of immunology, of biology, okay? and chemistry as well. So we understand that deoxygenation may occur by wearing masks, for one thing, because you're covering your respiration, your respiration system. All right. So you have to inhale and exhale. All right. Even when you look at the computer or you look at the game, you see holes, you see air holes for ventilation. All right. That's a part of a normal systematic function of a biological organism. All right. So you have to inhale and exhale. If you're wearing a mask, you're not able to inhale and exhale properly. All right. And also the red blood cells, which makes up the antibodies, all right, which are your immune defenders, okay, may be compromised, considering that the red blood cells are made of iron and oxygen, which is iron oxide. All right. The blood cell is made of those specific chemicals. All right. So you need to feed the body iron and you need to feed the body oxygen. When you wear masks, you decrease your oxygen count, but not being able to respirate the same amount of oxygen, family. Okay. So that's just one thing to consider. All right. Dehydration from acidosis and other acidic substances and foods and environmental factors. All right. You know, that's not good either. Decarbonation, lack of vitamin D, not being able to get out in the sunlight and get enough sun exposure. I've been incarcerated before, over a length of maybe like 45 days. I was lighter, family, because I was taking them hard bleach showers, and I was eating them GMO trays. You know what I'm saying? So it did do me dirty. I came out lighter with less melanin than I had initially. So you can experience decarbonation as well, just like dehydration or deoxygenation. But anyway, when pathologists, scientists enter hazard pathogen rooms, because I've seen like documentaries on pathology, and I seen how they had a whole hazard room like cut off with like double doors, like, and reinforced with fiberglass and everything. And then when the scientists go in the room, they go in the room with an entire full body suit. Okay, they're not wearing COVID-19 masks. Okay, they're not wearing mask, family. They're wearing full body suit gear. All right. And if these scientists were to enter a hazardous pathogenic room, all right, because COVID-19 is a harmful pathogen. If they entered the pathogenic room without that type of protection, then they would be contaminated. They would be exposed to the virus and the pathogen, and they would die, family. And that's why they take these precautions. All right, people are not walking around with full body suits on with protective gear. Okay, all right, and they can't even afford it because this is some top level, type shit. This ain't no regular average Joe type shit. All right, so I'm just trying to understand the science, family. All right, but anyway, we're gonna keep it rolling. So we understand that decomposers are parasites, right, and can be included in food chains. All right, a parasite is simply an organism that lives in or on another organism in order to survive, family. All right, parasites definitely belong in a food chain as they do alter energy flow. All right, the fungus, maggots, bacteria, pill bug, and so forth are all decomposers. All right, that's by Socratic.org. https Socratic.org, family. All right, fungus, maggots, bacteria are all decomposers. All right, so we got to understand that when you expose a decomposer to living matter, to living tissue, all right, it's going to eat away at your tissue. It's going to eat away at your body, family, all right? So that's the way that it works. That's the science of, you know what I'm saying? Living matter and dead matter are separate, all right? Dead matter helps to recycle living matter that has died, all right? But living matter and dead matter are not supposed to interact at the same time. When you expose dead matter to a living biological organism, then it will tear down and eat away at the tissue and the organs, thus harming that organism. All right. So that's the understanding why vaccination being generalized for everyone, especially people of O blood group or O blood type, considering they have stronger immune defense and they have no genetic mutations, all right? These individuals may be compromised because they are an antigenic free genetic group. That's the point. Don't expose antigens to an antigenic free genetic group. Okay? We understand that antigens and pathogens and viruses like COVID-19 don't do well in warm environments. Okay? So photosynthesis is a good indication that pathogens and antigens may not be present, because that radiation and that heat and that temperature purifies, okay? And it creates a hostile environment for those pathogenic organisms to exist and to survive, okay? So having melanin, being in a tropical environment, and making sure that you're consuming foods from a tropical environment, then you know you probably headed in the right direction. All right. Pathogens do well in cold environments, family. Antigens do well in the cold environment. So it's not good to especially live in like the northern hemisphere or a very northern region like Greenland or Canada somewhere. And you know what I'm saying, it's very cold, and like I said, antigens and pathogens thrive in cold environments. So it's less likely for a pathogen and an antigen to survive in tropical environments. Okay? So you want to stay heated up, you want to exercise. Peace and blessings. Gia Ra in the building. Ashe, Queen, love and light. The truth is the light. We in the building, Ashe. So we just talking about the jab, the science of disease, family. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of, there's a lot going on right now. You feel me? There's a lot going on, but we're going to decipher through it, family. That's what the OmnivisionEdu is for, and that's what we here to do. We here to build, come together as tribe, as family, and depend on each other and deal with each other, because we don't have to deal with the mainstream if they're not giving us good substance, if they're not being trustworthy and they're not being credible. Then it should be our option to go elsewhere. All right, and we got other brothers and sisters that are knowledgeable and that are putting in their time and their energy. Okay, so it's we here to build, family. All right, Ashe. So like I said, a parasite is an organism living in or on with another organism in order to obtain nutrients, grow, or multiply, even in a state that directly or indirectly harms the host. Okay, so a parasite is of no benefit to the host. All right, its job is to take away. All right, so if you allow parasites to enter your body or entertain certain cultural practices that involve parasites, then you're exposing yourself to life forms that will deprive you of nutrients. All right? Okay, so that's how that works. Parasites, bacteria, protozoa, archaea, viruses are decomposers, family. It's not meant to interact with living matter. All right. So the thing about the genetic study that's crazy, the ABO blood group study, is people with the A, blood type, the B blood type, and the AB blood type, those people are inherent to genetic mutation, right? And this genetic mutation has parasitic microorganisms, antigens and pathogens. Okay, so like I said, some individuals are inherent to these organisms that are created for decomposition. These are decomposers. Some people are born genetically with this in their DNA. Okay, so this is why they say with Europeans came death, sickness, and disease. Okay, with certain genetic groups, these individuals had antigens and pathogens. All right, and from them having this type of genetic grouping or this type of functionality, they infected a lot of the natives, and a lot of native people died from sicknesses and illnesses. Okay, but it came with the Europeans from Europe, from Britain. All right, so that's just an interesting fact. Some people are genetically inherent to these decomposers. All right, and some people are not. But for the people who are not, don't expose them to it because it's not made for them. So that's just my discrepancy. So anyway, vaccines. So by www.cdc.gov, all right, which is a very common source. All right, vaccines contain the same germs that cause disease. All right, let me say that again. Vaccines contain the same germs that cause disease, family. All right. For example, measles vaccines contain measles virus, and HIV vaccine contains HIV, and that's a bacteria. But they have been either killed or weakened to the point that they don't make you sick. All right. Some vaccines contain only a part of the disease germ. All right. So that's a reading by cdc.gov. All right. But you see that they acknowledge that vaccines contain germs and that they cause disease. But then they went on to say that they weaken the germ or weaken the virus to the point where it doesn't make you sick. But there's been instances where individuals have developed, autism, that have developed seizures, neurological disorders, cerebral palsy. You know what I'm saying? There's been instances of certain things happening after vaccinations. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, germs are precursors of disease. So how can you heal, cure, or prevent disease by exposing an individual to the disease? That's just a question to consider, family. All right? Make it make sense, 2021, family. All right, so acidosis, that's something that I want to address too. Acid is, in chemistry, there's acids and bases. Bases are alkalines. Alkalines are electropositive substances, okay? Acids are electronegative substances, all right? They don't contain the electrical prominence, the electromagnetic prominence, all right? Acids are meant to decompose and deteriorate matter, to recycle matter, all right? And alkalis are living matter. So you have dead matter, acids, and then you have living matter, which is alkalis, all right? Electropositive, electrical prominence, and then you have matter that lacks that electrical prominence. That's when matter begins to decompose and decay. Okay, so we understand that acids create the conditions for germs, bacteria, and viruses. All right? When the body is not acidic, germs and viruses cannot develop, family. All right? As we said earlier, pathogens and antigens do not do well in hot, temperate environments. Okay? So acidosis, all right, according to merckmanuals.com, acidosis is caused by an overproduction of acid that builds up in the blood or an excessive loss of bicarbonate from the blood. Metabolic acidosis, or by building up of carbon dioxide in the blood that results in poor lung function or depressed breathing, respiratory acidosis. So acidosis is caused by the overproduction of acid in the blood family. All right. And like I said, it breaks down the tissues and breaks down the organs and breaks down the body eventually. Only hybridized fruits which have been genetically modified are acidic. Okay, all natural fruit species that have never been genetically modified, okay, meaning that they have that original genetic structure, that radioactive carbon-based structure, family, and they constantly undergo photosynthesis, and these are the fruits that contain that electrical energy that we're looking for. All right, the genetically modified plants like pokeweed, I don't know if people know about pokeweed, but it's a toxic plant, family. It's something that was brought here during the Columbian Exchange, all right, in the 14 and 1500s, all right, with the Europeans when they brought their culture and exposed their plants and their culture to the native people of the Americas. Okay, so to my understanding, only hybridized fruits, which are unnatural because they don't have the original carbon-based structure, are acidic and toxic. Okay, all other fruits that are natural and come from nature and has never been genetically modified is good, family. All right. So toxoid vaccines contain a toxin or chemical made by the bacteria or virus. They make you immune to the harmful effects of the infection. All right. So they say medicineplus.gov, toxoid vaccines contain a toxic or chemical made by the bacteria or virus. All right. So they did admit that. But then they go on to say they make you immune to the harmful effects of the infection. My discrepancy with that is in the ABO blood group study with the antigens and the antibodies. You got antigenic free, and then you got people who are antigenic based, depending on what your genetic grouping is, what your blood group is. But anyway, in the RH incompatibility, it's a interaction between antibodies and antigens being exposed to each other. So if you're antigenic free and your body is based off of antibodies, all right, then, and you have no antigens, when your body is exposed to antigens, then there'll be an antigenic RH incompatibility. So when they say that there will be no harmful effects, all right, from the vaccination, then how can they say that when there are RH incompatibilities that occur when you try to transfuse blood that don't go together, all right? When you try to transfuse bloods that are not of the same genetic grouping, there's a such thing as RH incompatibility, all right? Even the RhoGAM shot. The RhoGAM shot is a chemical created to neutralize the antibodies from identifying the baby. If a mother is Rh negative and she has original natural DNA and she has a baby and her baby contains DNA from a Rh positive guy, and the guy he has mutations in his DNA, and they try to conceive, sometimes they have to get the RhoGAM shot, family. And the RhoGAM shot, like I said, it neutralizes the antibodies, which are the immune defenders, from getting at the immune invaders. All right. So sometimes mothers can actually reject a fetus. All right. The whole pregnancy process can be rejected, family, because of a chemical incompatibility. So when they say that it's okay to introduce antigens to an antigenic free person, I question that, because we see that there's negative effects that happens from that. So antigenic free has to stay antigenic free. If you have antigenic DNA, then you can process antigens. Same way they got lactose tolerance and lactose intolerance. If you can process antigens and animal proteins, okay, then you have antigenic DNA. Therefore, you can create those, you can process those proteins, all right? You have the ability to process that. And if you're lactose intolerant, you don't have the enzymes necessary to process those proteins, family. meaning that you don't have animal-based DNA, okay? If you are lactose intolerant and you're African American, that's because you are not inherent to Neanderthal DNA family. So that's all it means. You're not antigenic. You don't create the enzymes that are necessary to process lactate and lactose. Therefore, you're lactose intolerant. Okay? So antigens and antibodies don't go together. All right? They don't go together, family. They go to war with each other. They bang on each other. All right? Like Crips and Blood. When they see each other, they identify each other as foreign. You know what I'm saying? You on this side, I'm on that side, and they banging. You know what I'm saying? Straight like that. All right. So now by HHS.gov, ingredients provide immunity, family. All right. They say that ingredients provide immunity. Now, antigens are very small amounts of weak or dead germs that can cause diseases. All right, this is by HHS.gov. They help your immune system learn how to fight against infections. Now, this is my thing with that. They help your immune system learn how to fight against infections. Now, your immune system, like I said, is supposed to be naturally intelligent, family. All right, if your immune system is not functioning, okay, then you may need help. And you may need immune boosting, all right? But if you don't need immune boosting, why do you need to teach your immune system how to fight against infections if you have adequate antibodies? See, the problem is in the ABO blood group study, the A blood type has 1 antibody, the B has 1 antibody, the AB has 0 antibodies, so they have 0 immune defense. And then the O blood group has 2 antibodies. So the O group has superior defense. A has moderate. B has moderate. And then AB has the least immune defense. Okay? So you don't have to teach your immune system how to fight off infections. It's based on your genetic grouping. If you have the adequate amount of antibodies. All right? So that's how it works, family. I'm on my professor shit today. That's how it works, family. You know what I'm saying? The antibodies is what determines your level of immunity, your immune defense. Okay? Now, according to the genetic study, like I said, individuals who are inherent to higher levels and lower levels. My problem is that the mainstream media is not acknowledging that fact. Okay? Don't expose individuals who are antigenic free to antigens because it will cause a RH incompatibility. All right. So, like we said, a germ is a very small organism that causes disease. Don't forget that, family. CranBridgeDictionary.org. Each vaccine contains a small amount of the disease germs, bacteria, virus, or parts of the germ. Examples are measles virus, pertussis, whooping cough bacteria, tetanus, toxoid. Vaccines do not cause disease because the germs are either dead or weakened and the toxoids are inactive. Vaccines help your child's immune system build protection against disease. Like I said, naturally, if you have good immunity, you don't your antibodies, your immune system doesn't need to be taught how to function. It's just a natural functionality. Same thing like religion. We're supposed to know certain things naturally, but then you have people who are not in tune. You know what I'm saying? They're not connected like us, so they don't know how to naturally function. Family, you don't need to teach your immune system religion or teach your immune system vaccinations. You know what I'm saying? Because it should already have that inherently. All right? Nature is intelligent. I believe nature is intelligent. Ain't nobody else making no sun, no moon, no star, no galaxy. None of that, family. All right? Ain't nobody else generating no 33 million degrees. Ain't nobody when some of the most densest objects that we have, metals, evaporate, family, at 3,000 degrees, with the sun's surface being around 8,000 degrees. You know what I'm saying? That's more than 2 times what's the required heat to turn any metal into gases, family. So these is the forces that I'm dealing with, family. Understand? These are the forces that we dealing with, family. All right? We got to be in tune with nature. Nature is extreme intelligence, supreme intelligence, all right? Not artificial intelligence, but natural intelligence, all right? So the immune system does not need to be taught how to function. If it needs to be taught how to function, then somewhere there's an indication of disease. Okay, disease is the disorder in the structure or function of a human, animal, or plant family. So if something is not functioning, then it's an indication of disease. Okay, there's a parasite, there's a germ somewhere. All right. So that was by Health Think BC. All right. So COVID-19 vaccines authorized by the FDA and recommended by the CDC for use in the U.S. for a limited population. And this is by the cdc.gov. Biotech, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, and NIAID vaccine or NIAID vaccine. So those are the main vaccinations that are now authorized, family, by the FDA, because originally it wasn't even authorized for a minute and people been taking the vaccination. You know what I'm saying? But them the ones that's supposed to be authorized. Biotech, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, and NIAID or NIAID vaccine. All right. Now, the total number of cases and deaths from coronavirus, COVID-19, in the United States as of August 24th, 2021, all right, characteristic total number, the total cases is 37,996,672. Cases in the last 7 days, 987,639, all right. Total deaths, 628,000, all right. 628,000 deaths in 2000 as of August 24th, 2021, family. All right. Now, mind you, in 2020, I think it was 2020, according to my research, in 2020, there were about 400,000 COVID-19 deaths in the United States, all right, compared to 3 million melanoma skin cancer deaths in the United States, all right. According to MayoClinic.com, there were over 3 million skin cancer deaths in the United States. So you compare the coronavirus deaths to the skin cancer deaths, and the coronavirus deaths does not compare. Skin cancer deaths are several times over the coronavirus. So if they're having numbers like that from skin cancer, I feel like it should be talked about. It should be publicized. I know they had what's her name, Megan Rothschild, going around promoting skin cancer awareness a few years ago. That's somebody from a European banking family. That was one of the first centralized European banking families and systems established, family. So they have a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? They said they're worth to be over $500 trillion. You know what I'm saying? So they got it. But anyway, they took it upon themselves. They could have hired somebody else, but they had a family relative, you know what I'm saying, going around promoting this skin cancer awareness. So it's really bigger than what we think it is. But my thing is like, they should talk about that. If COVID is so bad, you know what I'm saying, why come you know what I'm saying, like the cases are not higher? Why it's not more deaths than skin cancer? So I don't know, just something to look into. Yeah, the sun is going in, family. It's a natural cycle, natural process. You know what I'm saying? And you know, nature, like I said, is supreme intelligence. It's no force that's matching that. You know what I'm saying? The government, nobody, no force is matching what's natural, family. All right? So that's who my faith reside in. All right? So now, according to CDC.gov, as of May 30th, 2020, among COVID-19 cases, the most common underlying health conditions were cardiovascular disease 32%, diabetes 30%, and chronic lung disease 18% by CDC.gov. All right, coronavirus disease 2019 COVID-19 pandemic resulted in 5,817,385 reported cases and 362,705 deaths. CDC.gov. So, but yeah, family, I'm gonna come and build with y'all again more about it. This is just part one. I gotta get on up out of here. I told y'all I would share some time with y'all. It's been a while since I've been in the building, so I had to make up for that. Give y'all a few jewels, few fun facts. You know how we rock out. OmnivisionEdu360. We lit, independent research, black news. You know how we get it in. Appreciate y'all for coming in the house. Appreciate y'all for coming in the building and you know, just sharing a little bit of time and energy with me. I'll be sure to get back with y'all as soon as possible. There's been a lot going on, you know what I'm saying, but I'm going to get back to y'all shortly. Again, don't forget to hit the Cash App, the YouTube, the Facebook, and the Instagram, which I put it in the very beginning of the video, and also it'll be listed to the video. All right, so just click on the links and get at me. I'm gonna get at y'all as soon as possible. Love and light. Namaste. Hotep. Peace and blessings. We out.